Today we're talking about the 1974 film Dark Star, directed by legendary director John Carpenter, who you may know from, small franchises such as, Halloween, The Thing, They Live, Escape from New York, Big Trouble Little China, The Fog, Christine, a plethora of hits. My personal favorite being The Thing. Love The Thing, probably my favorite horror movie of all time. If you classify it as horror, which I think it's loose, but I think there's some horror vibes to it. I know Assault on Precinct 13 was one of his earlier ones as well. I think his second one after Dark Star, which is what we're talking today. And Dark Star was a feature-length version of his student film. So yeah, the history behind this, I'm not 100% certain on all the facts, so please don't take it for just like absolute truth. But yeah, he made a short film. Him and his fellow writing partner, who also played Pinback, Dan O'Bannon, also, who went on to be quite a famous writer. Alien, Total Recall, Alien vs. Predator. Yeah, so it started off as a student film, and then they got eyes from some production companies, and they made it into a feature-length film. And it's good to go into the movie knowing that fact, because it's clearly very low budget, and it's clearly doing what they can with what they have type of deal. And it's charming in that way, because it's very inspiring to see what you can do on what little they have. And with what little they had, they managed to do like so much out of it. Like a lot of the set pieces were really, really well done, and they were clearly pretty scaled back, but just some of the things that they managed to pull off were really impressive. Sometimes you can see through what's happening, and I do think that is a kind of fault to the movie. Like this scene, this scene kind of stood out to me. So in this scene, we have Pinback. He's being chased by an alien that's on their ship that they wanted to keep as a pet, as a mascot, as he said, which I thought was funny. And it's just a giant beach ball. And it's like everything else had a nice look to it, a nice low budget, but still sci-fi, a lot of effort put into it. But still, then you have just like, where's the beach ball? Let's find it here. This beach ball. And it's like, it really took me out of it at that point. I think this is my least favorite sequence in the whole movie, this whole alien bit. And yeah, it just went on for so long. But the thing I wanted to point out was in this scene where he's on the elevator, the way they did it with this really long corridor and like this thing that's moving, making it look like he's hanging on, was really, really well done. But at the same time, you can kind of pick out how it's done, because it's supposed to be, he's hanging on to this elevator, which is going up and down. Here, to me, I mean, it's pretty clear that he's actually just horizontal, and he's just like laying on like a piece of wood or something, pretending to be dangling down. And I mean, yeah, this one is less egregious than the beach ball, I think, because the beach ball, I was just like, okay, like you really put in like zero effort into this, but a lot of effort into everything else. But this one, it's like, I respect the effort. I do know what's happening, but like, it's cool to see. Cool. It's fun to pick apart some of the things at the same time. And yeah, that's the charm of this movie, because it's really not the best movie of all time, but it's just a charming start to his career. And I mean, I'm a big sci-fi guy, and so the movie, the plot, the general plot is that these guys in the 21st century, they are 20 years into their mission, but they've only aged like 3 or 4 years or something. And yeah, they're just going crazy on the spaceship, and their job is they go to unstable planets and they just blow them up with bombs. And that's somehow, saving the universe for some reason. And then they try to message back to Earth and be like, "Oh, we really need some repairs here." And they're like, "Oh, we put it by the board, and no, sorry, but we believe in you guys." And like the very dry humor really hit for me. Like I think the beginning of this movie was pretty fun, it was going well, and then it kind of sunk down when I got into that middle bit with the alien. I really didn't vibe with that too much. But then I think the last 30 minutes of this movie was absolutely amazing. I love the last 30 minutes of this movie. So I'll go full on into spoilers right now. But so the last 30 minutes of the movie, a lot of things happen, but the main thing that's happening is that We start off with a conversation between, I believe it is Doolittle and Talby. Talby, who just sits up in this dome at the top of the spaceship, this glass dome, and looks up at the stars all the time. Doolittle, he goes up to him because he's kind of just been like, not rejected from the group, but he's isolating himself on purpose. He doesn't want to go down into the actual depths of the ship. He just likes looking at the stars, so he doesn't really interact with them very much. And they go and have a conversation. And Doolittle's like, yeah, I used to surf. I think that's the thing I miss the most. Oh, this scene was great too, where it's like a video confession room, his video diary, and he confesses to everybody like, I'm trying to bring some morale to this mission. I wasn't even supposed to be on this mission. And it was my birthday 2 weeks ago, and nobody said happy birthday. I just hate them all. It was great. Oh, this visual is so cool too. This freezing thing of this guy, the old captain, that was really well done as well. I like that. And he's just so like snarky and doesn't care because he's frozen. It's like, no, we really need your help. Yeah, but this scene was pretty fun, where he just goes up and talks to Talby, and is like, where's this red light coming from? I don't understand, but it's just like the way they shot it was so close up, and it was so just like he's just pouring his heart out for no reason, and I don't know, it's just so like subtly funny to me. The dry humor, just like it hit me in this scene specifically. But then I did want to talk about, the last 30 minutes, which is all about this bomb, which kind of represents like HAL from 2001. So this bomb, it receives signals. Let me see. Yeah, this bomb here, it receives signals from the main computer system, which is also sentient. And so there was a malfunction because Talby was going down and trying to fix what went wrong because there was an asteroid storm earlier. And then everyone else is like, shut up, Talby, we're just eating. And then so he goes and tries to fix himself, but he just like gets hit with a laser, and he just like messes things up worse, and it sends a malfunction, and now this bomb thinks it needs to drop. And now they all have to convince the bomb that it's actually a malfunction, and then it shouldn't drop. And I thought the conversation when Doolittle, he went out to talk to the bomb. He went in a spacesuit, and he's just out right with the bomb. Right here, you can kind of see. That's him, and that's the bomb. And he's just giving the bomb an existential crisis. And he's like, okay, so you know that, how do you know that you exist? And the bomb's like, oh, because I know I exist. I think, therefore I am. He's like, good, okay. But, where do you get all your information from? You get it from this one, like, wire, this one avenue, correct? And he's like, yes. So how do you know that that avenue isn't lying to you? Well, because I know. Oh, but how do you know if you get all of your information from that one avenue? And just as the countdown's coming down, the bomb's like, I need to ponder on this further. And then it doesn't explode. Oh, I don't know. I thought that was great. Because, like, Doolittle's my favorite character in this movie. He's so dry. He's now appointed captain because the previous captain just died in his chair, and it, like, traumatized Pinback for some reason. And now he's the self-appointed captain, and he just doesn't care. He's been there for, like, 20 years. He just wants to go back and surf. And then, eventually, the ship explodes. And I thought the last, 5 minutes of him and Talby being out in space being like, hey, the ship exploded. Talby, what happened? What do we do? And they're like, oh, that sucks. And then Talby, gets sucked into the asteroid thing, which is funny. And then Doolittle finds a piece of debris and surfs down onto a planet. And it was just the coolest way to go out. That's just what I want with, a sci-fi parody. And yeah, the last 30 minutes of this movie, I thought just absolutely delivered on that. Whereas I think the tonal elements of the whole movie are a bit interesting, because I think they really, really hit with a lot of the humor in the last, half, in the last 30 minutes. But then at the beginning, you're just trying to get a sense of what's going on. And I do think some of the humor didn't land as much when they're trying to explain everything and what's happening. And again, that alien scene just went on for way, way, way too long. But overall, I mean, I really enjoy this movie. It was so much fun. It's always fun to look at low budget sci-fi movies. It's always so much fun. It's because the low budget, it really challenges filmmakers to be creative with what they have and try to expand their ideas and provide big concepts with little production design. And I think they absolutely killed it. I love the look of this short triangular prism, like base of operations that they have here. It feels so claustrophobic. But then they go to like their lunchroom and it looks just like a 4 walls or like a 3 wall set that they had in a studio. And it looked just a little worse. But like I really like the look of this room specifically. And yeah, there's a few just like production design elements that hit so hard, like the look of this. I think the bomb was cool. I think that yeah, Talby's area in the top of the spaceship looked cool. And then you have scenes like in the lunchroom where it's just a room or like their sleeping quarters. I love these genre filmmakers because yeah, that's all they want to do. They want to have fun. And then he eventually got big budgets for his movie and his movies, and he just went wild with like it's what movies is all about, just having fun, doing crazy stuff with his genres, and it's like those are my favorite type of filmmakers. So yeah, I was very happy that I watched Dark Star. I've been meaning to watch it for a while, so